Happy Sunday, everyone. Happy Sunday. I decided to do my live today in my home. I usually do it on my deck, but I decided to do it in my home today because it's super windy here. So I was like, I'm not about to go out there and it be super windy and then you can barely hear anything that I'm saying. So I decided to do it here. But as you guys know, I typically try to do my live videos now on Sundays. It's one of the few days where I actually have time to do live videos, to be completely honest. So yeah, I wanted to do my live video before I head over and see my mama and go to the gym. So first things first, I want to say, how are you guys? I hope you guys are having an amazing Sunday. I'm not going to be on here long. I also wanted to say I am also accepting new clients for male consultations as well too. So you can either go to my page or you can go to my story to get my professional email for social media. And then the last thing, if you have not subscribed to my page, please make sure you do. And as you guys know, I love all of my supporters and I thank you guys for supporting me because obviously without you guys, my message would not get anywhere. So I really greatly appreciate it. So anyway, I wanted to talk about a few things. So first things first, I have had quite a few reels that have went viral. I kind of look at the comments and I get the constructive criticism, and I do like to look at the constructive criticism because as an influencer, I think it's important to take the constructive criticism, reflect on it, and then kind of decide if you feel as though, it's justified or not. Now, one of the biggest constructive criticisms that I get is I should not be doing videos while I'm driving, and that is true. I'm actually trying to find time in my schedule to do it because the best times to post for me is in the morning, and for whatever reason, it's usually when I'm driving because that's literally when I have the time to do these videos. I always tell myself that I'm going to get up earlier to be able to do a video before I start driving, but I'm not going to lie, I'm always just making it on time, set my alarm for 5:15, don't get up till 6, that'd be the struggle. So I'm really trying to discipline myself to get up at 5:15 because that would give me more than enough time to be able to do my videos while I'm not driving. So I'm forcing myself to do that now. So I'm going to start that tomorrow. I'm going to try my best because people are right. People have gotten into bad accidents and things. I have gotten just really good with being able to focus on the road and do it, but I know that it's not safe. So yes, that is constructive criticism that I took. And I'm they're right. That makes sense. Then the other, I wouldn't even say this is constructive, but the other criticism that I get is from Black women. And, the main thing is always, I'm a pick me, But what I don't think Black women understand is that I really don't care. Being a pick me is actually a compliment. And I don't really know how Black women don't see it that way. Being a pick me means you're being picked by men. That means that you have options, right? And it means that these are options of men that actually want to take you seriously or at least have enough respect for you as a woman that they're going to treat you with respect and dignity and honor and things of that nature. So I take that as a compliment. And yes, I am a pick-me. Now, I get a lot of criticism from women because they're well, you can't speak on behalf of relationships because you're not in a relationship, you're not married. And then, they'll kind of they'll kind of come at me with the, I'm in a relationship, I'm married, so I should be able to give the criticism. But the crazy part about it is that I need women to realize that just because you're in a relationship, what type of man do you actually have? Because I'm going to be completely honest, there's a lot of simps out here, and there are very much a lot of Black women that I've seen that have men, but they're placeholders, meaning that they don't really actually want to be with that man, but they're too afraid to be alone to try to find somebody that they feel as though is actually quality. And then also on the flip side, there's a lot of men, unfortunately, that I've seen black women with that are simps, meaning that they are in relationships with these women, but the women, I'm sorry, my nose is itching, but the women very much control the relationship. So you coming on here telling me that I can't give advice on things that are 100% factual because you're in a relationship or you're married, it doesn't mean anything to me, because are you with a simp? Are you with somebody that you can control? You know, like, those are the type of questions that I would want to ask, because I see a lot of that going on. And I specifically see black women targeting or going for men that they know may not, be alpha males or have strong personalities, because they do want to be in control. So you coming on my platform and saying that does nothing for me. It's like, okay, congratulations, you're in a relationship. Are you happy? But most importantly, is your man happy? Because let's talk about it. There's a lot of men who are in marriages and they're miserable, and they feel like they have been, I guess you could say duped, or whatever word you might want to put, because their woman acted one way, during the dating phase, and now that they're married, she did a whole 360, and now her true colors are showing, and now he's miserable as hell. But because a lot of times men are trained to just kind of deal with the reality of things, there's a lot of men who are staying in marriages that they're not happy in, because they're realistic enough to know that marriage isn't always about happiness, or because there's children involved and they still want to be a stand-up man. But if you was to sit down and have an honest conversation with your man based off of your behaviors as to if he was really happy, most men would say, hell no. Hell no. Because most women have fucked up mentalities, for sure. Now, I know that, there's women that always come for me. There's women who always come for me and they're like, oh, well, you talk all this about, baby mamas, but, one day you'll be a baby mom. And here's the thing. One thing about me, I'm very realistic. So one day I may be a baby mom, because, again, I think with logic. So statistically, black women are losing. I'm just going to be completely honest. Statistically, only 1 out of every 4 black women is going to get married. That's the statistics. That's what it is. So there's a 3 out of 4 chance, more likely chance of me being a baby mom than a wife. It's very, very unfortunate. Do I want to be a baby mom? Of course not. Would I love to be a wife? Of course not. But a man has to choose you to be a wife. He does. Now, I also, as a 30-year-old woman that's about to be 31 years old, I'll be 31 in January, I think about those things as well, too, for myself, because I have decided to go the modern woman route, where I stayed on birth control for 10 years. And, I was like, I'm not having kids while I get my master's program and all these other things. So I did that. But I think the difference between me and other women was just simply the fact that I went for those things because I was a single woman, and I needed to make sure that while I'm in my singleness, I can still survive and make money, right? Enough to be able to sustain myself. But the difference between myself and other women is that this is not what I wanted. So pretty much, to make a long story short, that if there was an opportunity where a man wanted to marry me, all that other stuff that I was doing, it wouldn't have been a priority to me. My priority would have been my husband, my household, and whatever children I had. So that's the difference. I think that when you're a single woman, you go for what you go for because you need. But I think that the difference is that some women take that and they roll with the feminist movement, and they just roll with that, and they just be like, I don't need a man for nothing. That was never me. I tell people all the time that I very much was the woman that wanted to be married young, like 19, 20, 21. I wanted to be the woman married young. But once I saw that was not happening for me, I'm like, okay, well, I can't be a bum. I can't live in my mom's house all my life. So I'm going to go out and get a career. So that's kind of how that went. But what I will say is that that's the difference, I feel like, between me and other women. So when women come on, they're like, well, you're going to be a baby mom one day. the odds are against me. Statistically, the odds are against me. I may be a baby mom one day. I think the difference between myself and other women is I'm just realistic about it. Like, the odds are already against me as a black woman. So I very much could be a baby mom one day. Do I want to be a baby mom? No. But I also have to deal with the reality that I'm not in control of my life. So like I said, I was on birth control for 10 years, from 19 all the way up to 29. I'm about to be 31. I got off of that shit because I was tired of what it was doing for my body. My face was breaking out. I was putting on all this weight. Like, I just was not my best self. So I decided to take all those chemicals from out of my body, and I have been on the up and up ever since. My skin cleared. Like, this is me, y'all. I don't wear makeup. This is my natural skin. I take very good care of my skin, right? So it's like, all that stuff that I was into, like, I used to, in my early 20s, I used to wear all the weave, the makeup, cake it on my face, and do all the shit that women do nowadays. And I looked at myself in the mirror, and I hated myself. And I was like, enough is enough. And I dealt with my face. My face looked horrible, and I worked on myself. I worked on my skin. I worked on my face. I worked on, my weight. I took my ass to the gym. I started eating healthier, and I held myself accountable because I looked at myself in the mirror, and it didn't even have to do with the man. I didn't like myself. I didn't like the fact that I couldn't walk outside without makeup. I didn't like the fact that when I looked in the mirror, I had a gut. I just didn't like myself. I'm like, this has to change. Now, granted, I was in my master's program at the time, and I was very stressed out. I was working 2 jobs. I was very stressed out. Like, my story is not the, this perfect story or whatever. I have been blessed to, have been given things from my parents. But for the most part, I still had to go out there and work for the things that I have. So with that being said, yes, I looked at myself in the mirror, and when I was like, I don't like myself, and I changed it. And a lot of women don't do that. A lot of times, us as black women, we make excuses because we want to be lazy. So they're like, oh, well, the man should just accept me for who I am. The man should just do that. No. A man does not have to accept that. And see, that's what women don't understand. A man does not have to accept an overweight woman. A man doesn't have to accept that. A man doesn't have to accept a woman that wears a whole bunch of makeup and never wants to wear her natural face because she's that insecure. A man does not have to accept a woman that wears a whole bunch of weave and the bust down lace front wigs with the swoops looking crazy. A man doesn't have to accept that. Now, women come for me too. They're like, well, you wear weave too. I do. I wear protective Afrocentric styles. You would never catch me with no weave. This is the most weave you'll see as far as like adding like human hair to the braids. But I'm past that stage. Like that stage where I used to wear all that weave, makeup. I'm past that stage. It does nothing for myself. It doesn't does anything for my skin. And to be completely honest, I think that I look 100 times better with my natural face and wearing Afrocentric hairstyles. I feel like it fits me so much more. Like all that makeup, like even with the eyelashes, I used to get my eyelashes done, and then I started to think to myself, I'm like, why am I spending $200 to get something that don't even last? Just because, I feel insecure about my eyes. I don't usually tell this, but my dad was Black and Chinese. So I do have Chinese in me. He was Asian. So I do have that in me. So I don't really see it so much with the way that I look, but my eyes are definitely like, I have like these like slanted, like chinky eyes. And so I used to get eyelashes because I wanted to like make my eyes look bigger, But I'm just like, my eyes are my eyes, and it just is what it is. Like, my dad was Black and Chinese. Like, well, Black or Asian, whatever you want to call it, right? So it just is what it is. I have a small percentage of it in me, and that's probably why my eyes look the way that it look. And it just is what it is. So I just accept it. But it's like, even with the eyelashes, like, I stopped doing it. I'm like, I don't really want to get eyelashes no more. I feel like the older I get, the more and more natural I become. Even with my nails, Like, I used to wear fake nails, and people think that these are fake, but these are actually my real nails. I started to, you don't see no fakeness underneath it. This is my real nail. I started to grow out my real nails, and now I just get like a hardener polish to like, so that they don't get messed up. But I just got tired of fakeness. I used to go and get the fake nails. My nails was all breaking off. They were brittle and hard. Like, I feel like over the years, I've just become more natural, and I love myself so much more. It feels so good to be able to wear, to just wear my natural face, my natural nails, love myself. Don't feel like I have to wear a whole bunch of makeup and all this other stuff just to be pretty. Like, I tell people all the time, like, you're not going to catch me with all that designer. I'm not trying to keep up with the Joneses. Like, I'm just in my lane, and I just enjoy being in my lane. And so, yeah, so I just say all that to say that, people try to come for me, and it's just like, hey, like, I don't try to be something that I'm not. And I think that's why I get underneath a lot of women's skin, because I'm who I am, and you either like it or you love it or you don't, and that's okay. But, when women come and they're like, oh, well, you're going to be a baby mom one day. I might. I'm not, again, I read. I'm in education. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, the odds are against me as a black woman. It is what it is. Like I said, every 1 out of 4 black women will get married. That means 3 out of 4 black women are not getting married. And I may be the one of the 3 out of 4 that don't get married. But I think the difference between myself and other women is that I have a better chance of getting married and actually staying married, because getting married doesn't mean nothing, but staying married, that's the flex. I have a better chance of staying married because of my mindset, because I'm not delusional, because I actually understand men a little bit better than the average woman, and I want to understand a man. That's the difference. But will I be a baby mom one day? Maybe so. Only God has control over that. You know what I'm saying? Like, only God knows that. You know what I'm saying? Like, all I know is I got tired of the birth control. I don't want to be on it no more. I just, it's to me, it's poisonous to a woman's body. I don't want no parts of it. So it's just like, God is going, like, whatever God decides, that's what it's going to be. And that's okay. All I could do is control my part of it, in the sense of like who I lay down with, who I decide is worth me giving my body to and stuff. And when it comes to stuff like that, I just feel like I have a little bit more practical sense than the average woman, because I'm not just going to lay down with anybody. And it's going to be somebody that you know what I'm saying, that I've known, like that I know, that we done already had these conversations and things. So it's like, if I get pregnant, then we just going to be a mother and a father. And it, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I just feel like women try to come for me because they think that I'm better. I don't think that I'm better than any woman. I'm not better than anybody. I just think that I had a father. I think that I'm just more realistic, and I think that I'm just very mature for my age. I'm about to be 31, but a lot of times I feel like my mental is somewhere in my 40s. I've been mature all my life. I had older parents. My mom had me at 39. My dad was 42. Like, I've had older parents, so I just think older. When I was in my 20s, I was thinking about marriage. When I was in my 20s, I was thinking about getting life insurance. When I was in my 20s, I wasn't going on vacations and parties. I was thinking about saving. When I was in my 20s, I was thinking about setting up my retirement. When I was in my 20s, I was thinking about trying to pay off my car so that I could stack my bread, that for the money that I was paying in my car for my car note. When I was in my 20s, these are the things that I was doing. I was not caring about going on vacation and doing all this other stuff. I just have a different mindset. Now, some people would look at me and say, well, you didn't live your life. And to a certain extent, I really haven't, for the most part. But I'm also happy and content in my life, because my decisions that I made in my 20s are benefiting me now. So now in my 30s, if I want to go take a vacation, I can afford to. If I want to do something for myself, I can do it without being stressed out. I can focus on the things that I really want to focus on, because I took that time in my 20s. Now, my life, for the most part, is pretty complete. I have everything that I want for the most part. The only thing that I'm really missing is a husband and a family. But again, the odds are against me. The odds are against me as a black woman. I can have a great mentality. I could be this great person, but the odds are still against me. And I just deal with that reality. I just deal with that reality that it may not happen for me because I may be the 3 out of 4 women who don't get married. But I'm not going to live my life every day miserable and being bitter and angry at men because I haven't got married yet. I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to be disrespectful to black men and dog them and talk all this shit about black men. Because I'm just so happy in my life that I just don't need to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to do that. Like, it's okay. And I think women need to realize that every man is not going to see you as a wife, and that's okay too. Like, that doesn't mean that you gotta be angry and bitter and angry. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to do all that. You don't have to do all that. And I think for myself, I'm just like, what God will have will happen. If I'm meant to be a mother, I'm going to be a mother. If I'm meant to be a wife, I will be a wife. If I'm meant to be both, a mother and a wife, I will be both. But I think also for myself, it's like, could I probably have been married at this stage of my life? Probably so. Like I said before, there were men who wanted to marry me in the past. But again, it came down to, one thing about me, I'm not in the business of using men, right? So if I don't feel an attraction with the man, or I don't feel as though this man that I as a woman can be led under his leadership and respect him to lead me, I'm not going to be with that man. And I'm going to take it a step farther to say even further that not only am I not going to be with him, but I'm not going to use him for what I can get out of him either. So that means that I'm not going to use him for dates, and I'm not going to you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do that because it's not fair to him to be wasting his resources on a woman that is not fully invested in him. So I don't do those things. So that's a lot of what's been kind of going on in my life. Or the men that I wanted, they had made decisions, before me with baby moms and all this other stuff that I just chose to not want to be involved with as a single woman with no children. I just chose that I did not want to be involved in it because I don't have to be. So with that being said, it's just one of those things where it's like, that's been more so my story on top of just focusing on myself, on bettering myself. I'm very, very big on being holistic, very big on diet, very big on exercise, and very big on meditating, very big on trying to be the best version of yourself. And I feel like, if there is a man that I choose to, have in my life, then, we go from there. But I think that I'm also learning as well, too, as now a more mature black woman, that I don't have control over men. I think that when I was in my 20s, I very much thought that I could control the scenarios of every man. It's like, well, this is what I want, and if you don't give it to me, goodbye. And I was kind of like stuck up, like, bye. I don't have to deal with this. I don't da-da-da-da. And what I learned is that I just stayed single because you can't control a narrative. You can't control. I've learned. You can't control a man. You can't tell a man what he's going to do. You can't tell a man that this is the way he's going to do it. You can't do that. One thing I've learned about men are going to do what they want to do. That's it. You can sit down and have a conversation with that man, but a man is going to do what he wants to do. You cannot tell that man what he is and is not going to do. It doesn't work. And I had to learn that. And I had to also learn that I have a control problem in the sense of, like, if I want something, like, say, for example, I may put in my mind that I want to be in a relationship within a few months. If you're not in a relationship with me within a few months, well, I don't want you. And so you'll come giving men ultimatums, and that's why I created my platform, because what women don't realize is I had to go through my 20s learning things to even be able to have enough logic and sense to even speak on these topics. I had to actually experience some of these things to speak on these topics. And I very much was the control freak in my 20s that was like, well, I want this to happen now, and I want it to happen then, and I want it to happen now, and this is how it's going to happen. And men they not going for it. It don't matter how good you look. It don't matter which, they not going for that. They not going for that. Like, men have their own program and they're going to do stuff on their program. And I think that it is frustrating to women because you could very much feel like you're on the timeline. Like, look, I want to have kids by this time and I don't have time to waste. And, like my reproduction age stops here and da-da-da-da. And it is stressful. But men are going to do things on their time, their program. It just is what it is. Like, you just have to accept it dealing with a man, or you just be single and just don't deal with a man. And I had to learn that the hard way, right? Like, I had to learn that I don't have control over men. I don't have control over men. And I think that once I started to realize that I don't have control over men, life became a little bit more peaceful for me. Cause I stopped trying to control things. Cause I realized I have no control. I don't have no control over anything. And I damn sure don't have no control over no man. So with that being said, I think that it just helps me to be able to, kind of put the timelines to the side and just realize that it's okay. It's really okay. Like, if you choose to deal with a man, then you have to be okay with him, like, you have to be okay pretty much with him having his own timeline as to when he feels comfortable doing things. Like, I feel like as women, we're taught that, you meet a man and in a few months, he needs to know that you're the one. And that's just not realistic. I see all these reels from men on social media talking about it doesn't take a man more than a year to decide if he wants to marry you. And that may be very well true, but that doesn't mean that the shoe fits, for every single situation or every single scenario. We also have to realize that a lot of black men have not been taught to be husbands. So most black men are learning this on the fly. That's another thing that we don't talk about. Black men come out and they make all of these, give all this advice like, oh, if a man doesn't have a ring on your finger within a year, he don't want you. That's not true though. That's not true. And you giving false information, like, it's like you're trying, you done messed a woman's head up even more, because now she's like, well, if he doesn't want me to get, that's not true. Black women have to understand that we are all behind. Black women are behind because they're still in the Lulu land to damn near their mid-30s. And then they start to finally realize that the way that they've been doing things doesn't work. That's why they're single and a baby mom, and that's it. Or baby mom to several men. And then black women have to realize that black men don't have it all together in the sense of marriage. Most black men were not taught how to be husbands. A lot of black men are coming from single mom households. So black men have to learn on the fly too. A lot of black men have dealt with poverty, a lot of black men may not have come from the best situation growing up, whatever it may be, just a black struggle in general, right? So black women have to realize that this advice that you're getting online, it may not pertain to a lot of black men, because most black men may not even know how to even be a husband to damn near the mid-30s. And that's me being completely honest. Most black men in their 20s aren't thinking about marriage, nor do they know what a marriage should even look like. So they have to go out and bump their head a few times, just like us. They have to go out and bump their head a few times. They have to have some experiences to learn what they do and don't want. And then as they kind of grow and mature, then that's when they start to kind of put the pieces together as to what it is like to be a husband. Because a husband is a huge responsibility, especially for a man, because you have to learn to be selfless. You have to learn how to be a provider. Like, people throw these words around like, oh, like black women, oh, I want a black man to be a provider. He better get it. But if you sat down and talked to most black men in their early 20s, they don't even know what that means. They don't know what a provider means. A lot of black men are not growing up in households where they saw two-parent households where it was a husband and a wife, and they actually showed them a good example of what a marriage is supposed to be. So when I hear these things online, I'm like, I'm like, that may pertain to other races, but it doesn't pertain to the black community, because they have to realize that whatever they're saying, then give it another 10 years for black women and men to understand that, because they didn't have that growing up. So you have to learn. And I'm not saying that it's right, but it's the truth. So I say all that to say that when I'm dealing with black men, because one thing about me, I'm sure I may have a chance of going out and dating. I've had white men approach me, but I want a black man. I'm just being completely honest. I want a black man. I went to an all-white college. I had white men who approached me in college, and I probably could have been married to a white man, but I want a black man. Now, that's just like the choice that I made. You know what I'm saying? I want a black man. It's just as simple as that. That's the choice that I made. And I also have to realize as a black woman that when you make that choice, that everything is not going to be perfect. I had to learn that. So it's one of those things where it's like when I'm dealing with black men, right? And I'm trying to figure out why they haven't just put a ring on my finger, or why it seems like they're prolonging the relationship process and things. I have to look at it from a different standpoint to realize that I'm 30. I'm about to be 31. Most black men that I'm talking to are 35. Like, I'm talking to like the mid 30 range, right? And you'd be surprised. You sit down and have real conversations with black men, and they tell you that they're just now starting to think about marriage. They're just now starting to process what it would mean to be a husband. They're just now starting to feel comfortable enough to maybe have a child if they have not had one already. That's the real reality of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you talk to them and ask them why, and they'll be like, well, I was raised by my mom. Or they'll be like, I didn't have a father growing up. Or they'll be like, I know so many black men who said they were raised by their grandparents. And their grandparents is what showed them what an actual legit marriage was supposed to be. But then their grandparents died when they were young because they were older. And so then, they went, in their 20s or so, still bumping their head, trying to figure out what a marriage and stuff consists of. And now they feel like they finally have an idea of what it is. So I say all that to say that as a black woman, I'm not saying that this is every black man's story. There are definitely black men who had 2-parent households, and I think that that's a beautiful thing. But if we look at the statistics, black people are not getting married. And it has been like this for a while. Now, back in the 60s and 70s, I think the 70s was like the last kind of like era where black women were getting married at the same rate as white women. But now when we look at the statistics, since the crack epidemic, since, women decided to since women decided to choose the government over men and all the other stuff, right? Black women, it has been decades that our marriage rates have been extremely low. So the truth of the matter is that we're not getting married, but we're producing. We're reproducing, and so then we're just creating a lot of broken households. And this is why I make my content, and I'm so passionate about it, because I know I talk to black men all the time, and it's not even on like they want to talk to me. Like, they just be wanting to have conversations with me because of my mind, my mindset, because it gives them hope. And I talk to black men, and most black men want to be with a black woman. They be literally crying out to me. They're like, look, you just don't understand. I do not want to date a white woman. I don't want to date outside my race. I want a black woman. But they say that it's impossible. It's damn near impossible, because they just cannot deal with the entitlement, the attitudes, the disrespect, the disdain that they have for black men, how they hate black men, how they call them niggas and disrespect them and break their shit when they get upset and all this stuff, right? And it's sad, because it's like, black women, wake up. Black men want to be with us. They want to be with their own kind, but they cannot because of us. Because we're so disrespectful, so angry, so bitter, so nasty. So, you make a black woman mad and you have a child with her, she going down to the child support system. Again, choosing the government. Always choosing the government. Why? Why can't we try to work it out with our baby fathers? Because one thing I've also learned through talking to black men is that most of the time when a black man has a child with a woman, unless she's just a total dud, right? Most black men, when I talk to them, they tell me that they would very much, like, they be wanting to work it out with their baby mom most of the time. Even if they feel like it's not in the best interest of them, just because they would like to have a 2-parent household. But they'll try that, and then next thing you know, the black woman, angry, bitter, disrespectful. There's black men that told me that they're arguing with their black woman about cooking a meal. Just crazy, like crazy stuff. Or, oh, you're not doing what I want you to do? Okay, well, I'm not giving you no sex. And then when he goes out and cheats on you, now he's the horrible person. Like, all these ultimatums, this is which, and this again, it's because black women have been brainwashed by their single moms. Because I'll tell you, single moms are the worst. I'm sorry, single moms are the worst. I don't hear too many. I have yet to hear a black man who's a single father ever come out his mouth and blame a black woman. Single fathers just handle their business. They just handle their business. They may tell you what happened and they leave it at that. But I never hear them dragging the baby mom. They just be like, it is what it is. I'm taking care of my responsibilities. Like, you do not see single fathers on the internet talking about how black women ain't shit. It's always us. Black single moms be the worst. They be the worst. Even white women that I know who are single moms, you never see white single moms on the internet talking shit about white men. I have yet to see a white single mom on the internet talking shit about white men. And she in the same boat as the black woman. But us, we just gotta drag it out. We just gotta be crazy disrespectful. Black men ain't shit. They deadbeat fathers. And it be lies. Because again, statistically, black men are the most involved in their children's lives. What people don't realize is that these white women a lot of times may be winning as far as they have a husband and the husband has a career. But a lot of these white men have careers where they're not home. So the white woman is still very much responsible for everything that runs in the household. So it's kind of like you have to pick your poison. But black men are the most involved in their children's lives. That means there's more black men taking care of their kids than not. Why? Because statistically, black men, I think the percentage is like 50% of black men are either childless or not married. So black men are not even having children like that, as much as the world tries to make it seem. And then out of those few that are, they're taking care of their kids. There's more black men taking care of their kids than not. But us black women make it so hard for them to just take care of their child because we angry and we bitter because we want them to want us. But why would a black man want to work it out with you? Even though he may really want to. He may really want to have a 2-parent household. But why would he do that to be miserable for all his life? For you to argue with him about cooking him a meal. For you to say that I'm not giving you no sex. I'm not doing, like, no. For you to disrespect him every day of his life. For him to turn the key of his other house and you just outright angry. Just coming at him. He trying to hide somewhere, trying to hide in the bathroom, take a shower, anything to stay. Like, this is what's going on. This is what's going on. It's so sad. Some black women force black men out the house. But you cannot tell me that every black man that has a child with a black woman just says the hell with that woman. No, I'm just not going to continue that narrative because it's not true. Black men be very much wanting to work it out with their baby mom. Like, they be like, look, let's try to be a family. But again, black women make it so hard that they can't even do that. They can't even do that. So then we have another broken household. We have another broken household. Like, and black women will dog me out. I'm like, let me tell you something. I talk to more black men than I'm sure you do, because all y'all do is stay in y'all little girl circles and talk a whole bunch of shit and think, and y'all sit in these girl circles and y'all just talk about men together and think y'all know men. Y'all don't know shit about men. Y'all don't know the first thing about men, but y'all sit around these little girl circles and think y'all talk y'all shit. Y'all don't know nothing about me. I know more about a man than half of y'all do. And I'm not even married. Why? Because I have conversations with black men. I have conversations with black men. Even a black man that I'm dating even told me that who he has a child with, that is who he would try to work it out with. It's only common sense. But y'all make it hard. Like, y'all make it so hard. Y'all so disrespect y'all mouths. Even when I was watching Kevin Samuel video, right? It was this video, and this girl, she like going off on, like, mouth disgusting. Just being sarcastic. And it's just like, for what? Everything that the man is saying is 100% factual. Why are you being disrespectful? And it's like, y'all sound crazy. First of all, learn how to articulate yourself without getting all emotional and angry because you feel some type of way because somebody's telling the truth about you. You're the woman that Kevin Samuels is talking about. You right there. And then y'all get on these platforms and then y'all embarrass yourselves. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. They were all on his platform talking about, you always talk about women, but you don't talk about men. No, you sound dumb. Because if you would have did some research, before I even knew about, like, really started watching his videos, I did research on him and found out that the first 3 years of him really doing this, he was getting on black men. Then he finally decides to go over to the black woman because he sees his issues with them too. And then they just dog him. You don't talk about black men. Like, it's like, no, he did for 3 years. Are you dumb? Did you do your research before you came on a platform just sounding stupid? He talked about black men and held black men accountable for 3 years. The difference was they actually sat there and was like, you know what? You're right. But us as black women, we can't do that. We can't hold ourselves accountable. It's always somebody else's fault. It's always the black man's fault. It's always somebody else's fault. Oh, me and my baby father not together because it's his fault. Because it did. Oh, my baby father is a bum. Well, why did you have a child with him? Then when he asked those type of questions, now he's the bad guy. No, if he was a bum, if he had all these kids by all these women, why did you have a child with him? Why are you laying down with somebody raw that you don't feel as though would at least take care of their child and at least have enough respect and honor for you that he's going to at least try to work out a situation with y'all where y'all can have a family because y'all done produced a child together? But see, the issue is, the issue be them. Because the reason why he didn't want to work it out with you is because you're nasty. Your attitude is horrible. What man wants to come home to that? I'd rather be by myself. Just put me on child support like y'all do. And I'd rather just work and bust my ass and struggle than come home to that every day. Black women be on the internet. I'm not cooking for no man that can't pay all the bills. I'm not. It's always I'm not. Well, guess what, love? There's somebody someplace else that will. You know what's crazy? And I'm going to get off because I got to get off. But I'm like, if black women knew the competition, not even let's step outside the U.S. If black women knew the competition that they had overseas, they wouldn't even be on this type of time. If they knew that overseas there are women that have actually been groomed to be wives, I'm talking about actually been groomed to be wives. They in shape. They look good as hell. Body crazy. The whole nine, right? Skin look good. If they knew the competition out here, they wouldn't even be able to fix their lips to talk about what they not going to do for no man. There's women overseas that's waiting for a black man. There's women overseas that's like, whatever you want me to do, baby, what you want me to do? Hell, they trying to get a ticket to the U.S. and cater to their man. Like, this is what's really going on, and women try to drag me, but it's like, this is what's really going on in the real world. Like, this is what's going on in the real world. There's a woman out here that wants to cater to a black man. I know that it's so hard for black women to understand that because they think black men ain't shit and they don't make enough money and they poor and they deadbeats. But there's a woman out here who wants to cater to a black man. There's a woman out here that's rolling the fucking red carpet and being like, baby, walk on that red carpet and whatever you want, I'm willing to do. I'm going to cook for you, fuck you, suck you, the whole nine. Whatever you get, like, whatever. And guess what? And still will pay some of the bills. That's why I'm like, I don't know what world we live in. They not, yes. Black women will be amazed to think that. Yes, there's a woman out here that will do that. Hell, I have Hispanic girlfriends. I got Hispanic girlfriends that got black men. They doing all that, and they paying 50% of the bills too. Or he's paying, like, let's say 70%. They still paying bills is what I'm trying to say. I have Hispanic girlfriends who have black men, and they're still paying bills and doing everything. Fucking, sucking, cooking dinner. They be tired as fuck, but they take their ass in the kitchen, cook dinner. Baby, what do you need me to do? Like, it's out here. Then black women be like, oh, well, black men aren't da-da-da. No, baby, look at the statistics. Black men, outside of white men, black men is number 2 for the most desired man. Then they'll be like, oh, well, they're just desired sexually. Whatever you say, love, they still desired. They still can get their foot in the door with other races. They're still the second most desirable man outside of white men. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? There is somebody that would love to cater to a black man. Would love to come home to a black man. So my advice to black women is y'all better start closing your mouths. Y'all better start getting with the program. Y'all better all this. I'm not doing this and another woman will. Another woman will. That's all I can say. Another woman will cook. Another woman will have sex without complaining. Another woman will give head without complaining. Another woman will cater to her man, a black man, without complaining and be happy to do it because she loved that black man. And that's the reality of it. That's the true factual reality of it. Black women can say that it's not true because they just really believe black men ain't shit. But I promise you, there is a woman that is willing to do it. So, anyway, like I say, I say all that to say that, do I think that I'm perfect? Hell no. May I be a baby mom one day and not a wife? Yeah, the odds are against me as a black woman. Yeah, that may be true, but I still believe in my heart that I have a higher chance than some of these women out here with having a healthy marriage that can actually last. I'm not talking about divorce. That can actually last because of my mindset. I also think, and I also know that if I did have a child with somebody, I have a higher chance of a man saying, let's actually create, have a family together because we have this child and let's do this seriously. I think I have a higher chance than most women out here because of my mindset, because I can actually keep my mouth closed, because I'm actually going to cook. I'm actually going to do these things. You get what I'm saying? Like, because at the end of the day, black women can say what they want. Oh, well, black men can't do. But guess what? If he's paying any bills in the household, love, that's better than you paying 100% of your bills. And that's what black women don't seem to understand. If he's paying 50% of the bills, that's 50% of the bills you don't need to pay. If he's paying 60%, you got to pay 40. Whatever the percentage is, that's less bills that you would have to pay as a grown-ass woman who is strong and independent. You would be having to pay 100% of the bills, so it does not matter. It does not matter. So you can't just disrespect this man and be like, oh, well, you ain't shit because you can't pay 100% of the bills. Newsflash, most men can't. Newsflash, white women are out here working too. Do you think that they're working because they want to? They're working because they have to. Are we dumb? Are we dumb? White women are out here working too. They're working because they have to. Because the man can't pay 100% of the bills. Newsflash. Newsflash. Unless you making buku money, that's what it is. That's reality. But see, the difference is they not out here on the internet dragging their men and talking about how they ain't shit. Because it is what it is. It is what it is. They have enough sense to know that 2 incomes are better than 1. They have enough sense to know that 2 incomes can produce more generational wealth than 1. They have enough sense to know that 2 incomes is better and that 2 people in a household is better for help for children, rearing children. It's only us, black women, that just don't seem to get this. And we would rather be by ourselves and I have my career. Woohoo. Like, big whoop. Okay, you have a career. Nobody gives a fuck about your career. And you can have your career and still be struggling in the whole 9 because you're trying to do everything by yourself. You got all these kids by different men. You got your career. Oh, you got your career. Whoop-de-doo. Okay. You got your career. Great. Next, what we talking about? Okay. But you got your career and you still struggling. You got your career and you still raising kids by yourself and tired. So what does a career do? You would have done better. You would have done better being submissive and having a man assist you. Well, no. Let me take that back. Because you're supposed to assist the man. And that's another issue that women have. You're supposed to be the helper. But you would have done better having a man in the household. You would have done better having a man in the household that would take on the burden of being the provider and being the leader, because that's what men are supposed to be. And then you be the helper. I don't know about other women, but I'd rather be the helper. Because let me tell you, I'm a single woman out here doing it by myself. I don't see what's so spectacular about it. I get up every morning, take my ass to work, paying all my bills by myself. I don't see what's spectacular about it. I don't see what's spectacular about it. And even now, with me doing all that, I'm still going to cook whoever I'm dealing with a meal. I'm still going to respect whoever I'm dealing with. I'm going to respect him. I'm going to keep my fucking mouth closed. And I'm doing everything for myself. But it's just one of those things where it's like, if you want to be a wife, you have to be a wife in training. Why would a man want to take me seriously if I can't even show him that I even have wife qualities? It has to happen. So I came on here and I gave a mouthful. I'm gonna get off because I have other shit to do, but I'm hoping that women will look at this and realize that we got to get it, black women specifically, we have to get it together. A lot of the problems is us. A lot of the issues is our mentality. We are never going to we'll never get married if we continue these behaviors. Hate to break it to y'all. And no man is marrying no woman that don't got no wife qualities unless he is simp. But a real man that's actually going to be a leader, he's not dealing with that shit. If you can't show wife qualities before all the other shit, if you can't show that shit in the dating phase, he's not marrying you. That's what it comes down to. If you can't show that you can't keep your mouth closed, if you can't show that you can't cook, if you can't show that you can't be if you can't show that you're not a nag and you're going to be disrespected. If you can't show these things, he's not marrying you. So on that note, I'm going to get off of here. I hope you guys enjoyed my live video. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will definitely be back on here next Tuesday. I said next Tuesday. I'm sorry, next Sunday. And I hope that you have an amazing day. And thank you guys for tuning in. Like I say, I really, really love you guys. I appreciate all of the love and support. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. Be blessed.